When a parent called my 7-year-old a cheater at his own birthday party, I knew I had to step in. Earlier that afternoon Max was blowing out candles on his 7th birthday cake. The yard was full of balloons, cupcakes, and my wife's scavenger hunt clues. I'd set out a big jigsaw puzzle for the kids to work on while we waited for the games to start. The grass was still warm from the morning sun, and a gentle breeze fluttered the ribbons tied to the garden chairs. A portable speaker sat on a picnic table, its speaker grill humming faintly as the afternoon progressed. At noon we gathered for a round of hot potato. The rule was simple: whoever held the potato when the music stopped got a silly prize. I handed the plastic potato, a bright orange sphere with a goofy smile painted on it, to the oldest child, and the music, a jaunty pop tune, burst from the speaker. The potato bounced from hand to hand, the kids giggling and shoving gently, elbows nudging each other as they tried to keep it moving. Laughter filled the air, and then, just as the song was about to restart, a brief silence fell. I saw Max, the quietest of the group, holding the potato. He glanced at Antes, the girl in the pink hat, and there was a flicker of defiance in his eyes. The music began again, but Max's hand stayed on the potato. From across the yard a voice cut through the chatter. Lost, Max Identi? It was Miss L, a blunt-spoken parent I'd seen at other neighborhood events. Her daughter Lila had just won the previous round and was clutching a gold trophy. Miss L's tone was harsh. What? You're a cheater. I'd never play with someone who's as slow as you. She laughed, and a few parents turned their heads. Max's face flushed a deep red I'd never seen before. The other kids froze. I could feel the tension crackle in the air. I felt a duty to protect not just Max but every kid there just to play and celebrate. I stepped forward, feet steady on the grass, and said, "Excuse me, your words aren't how we treat kids on a birthday." I kept my eyes on Miss L. She looked surprised, half amused, half embarrassed. The other parents turned toward us, waiting for a cue. My wife stood behind me, eyes wide. Miss L's voice softened. "I'm just joking," she said. "It's just a joke." I replied, "A joke?" Max was a good team player, just holding the potato. Making fun of a child? Maybe we need a better way to celebrate. The silence snapped, not heavy, but the quiet before a storm. A few parents stepped back, some sighed. A mother from across the yard whispered, "You don't have to, we all have a part, but this is huge." Miss L reached for her phone. "I'll send a message, sorry." The kids started to drift, some exploring the yard, others staying in line. I put a hand over Max's shoulder and told him, "I'm proud of you for being brave." He gave a small grin that felt more genuine than any trophy smile. The music resumed, slower this time, and we all laughed a little softer, letting the moment dissolve into the afternoon heat. Later, after the party wound down and the last of the cupcakes were scraped from plates, I walked over to Miss L's house. The porch was dimly lit, a single bulb swaying gently above the step. She opened the door, her expression still a little tight, but she let me in without a word. We exchanged a look that said, "I see what happened." She was calmer. "I'm sorry, my daughter was excited and I lost my temper." I nodded. "That's the first step. The next is showing kids how to handle pressure in games. I know you're a good mom." We agreed that future parties would stay light, the games fun, and the language respectful. I suggested a short talk about feelings break after each game, so the kids could share how they felt and we adults could model calm. She smiled and said, "That's great." Back at my house I told Max he'd done the right thing. He had been the only kid to hold the potato, and that meant he was brave. He nodded, impressed with his own courage. We sat down at the kitchen table, the remnants of the birthday cake still on the plates, and talked about how we could fix the moment. "What do you think?" I asked. "What rules would you put in place to make sure everyone feels safe?" His eyes lit up with ideas about making the game fair and respectful, like a timer that beeped every 10 seconds so no one could cling too long, and a rule that anyone who felt upset could raise a hand and pause the game. The final lesson is simple: adults influence children more than we think. Our backyard turned into a classroom in a single moment. A single note from a mother echoed a larger truth. When we're at a child's party we can be the adults who teach kindness, or we can be the kind that steals the limelight. I chose to be the former. That night, with the scent of fresh cookies fading into the evening, I promised my kids and myself that we would always choose the voice of respect over the harshness of an offhand remark. Now, whenever I hear a kid say, "I wish my parents were as cool as mine," I look at them and think how big a good word can be. The next birthday will be better, and if I ever have to step in again, I'll know that a single voice can turn a whole backyard into a place of compassion.